Hello, and today we'll be continuing from my last Wagtail tutorial. Today we will be learning how to get started with our first Wagtail site. Now before I continue with anything else, I would like to first point out that in the description there will be a link to this Wagtail document page which I will be reading from for most of this tutorial. So to access any of the code needed, or if you just want to read along either on your own or along with this tutorial, feel free to just go in there and then follow these messages. So I will be continuing from the last tutorial, so if you don't know how to install Wagtail and get it running, again that will be linked in the description. Please go and watch that so you understand what is happening here. Now, what you're going to want to do is where you've installed your site from the last tutorial, you are going to want to go in and then reopen the command prompt, which I've already got open here. Now, what you're going to want to do after this is, if you again follow the site, you are going to want to start running the server. So first off, make sure your virtual environment is activated. I almost forgot that. So for me it is env/scripts/activate. And now that is up and running, it is now going to be python manage.py and then run server. So now this tutorial will be following on from my previous tutorial where I showed you how to install Wagtail and get started with it, creating your super user and initializing everything. If you haven't already watched that video, please do go watch it. It will be linked in the description as well. Or if you would prefer to just read along, again, the documentation for Wagtail is in the description and does have a tutorial of how to, again, download everything. So we're going to want to open the command prompt here in this folder, and then we are going to want to activate our virtual environment. So it is whatever you've called the folder containing the virtual environment. I call it env. Capital S scripts, and then activate. And then now notice how the virtual environment is activated. You're then going to want to enter the my site folder, or again whatever you call that folder. If you follow the documentation of my previous tutorial, it will be called my site. Next, what you are going to want to do is you're going to want to run the server. So you're going to want to type out python manage.py run server. And then, hopefully, getting started, there we go. So you'll notice it's now running at this location. So we'll just go back into Google Chrome, type out HTTP, top result, I've been practicing. So what you're going to want to do is head to the admin interface. Again, you can in fact access the documentation by going here. You can access the specific tutorials by clicking on here. But I won't be doing that, the tutorial is already open here. So, what you're going to want to do now is to extend the home page model as it says here. So the first thing we're going to want to do is to edit some folders in the my site folder. So edit some pages, should I say. So we can enter my site, then home, and then what we want to do is we want to enter models here. So I'm going to open it in Visual Studio Code and it will look like this. Having opened up the models.py page, the next thing you're going to want to do is to go back to the tutorial and you're going to want to copy this code here. Now, first things first, this code imports two additional things. So notice already that Wagtail has already imported a page and imported the Django database from models. The next two things that they import is the Wagtail core field, specifically rich text field, which I'll explain in a moment, and the Wagtail admin editor handler field panel, which I'll also explain briefly in a moment. Now, what rich text field is it's specifically Wagtail field. It inherits from Django's text field, so anything that can be passed into a rich text field can also be passed into a text field. You can also replace this with other Django fields. Now, for the purpose of this tutorial, we will be sticking with RTF, and I will also be shorthanding it to RTF. But what RTF does is that it provides an extra preview to the page on the Wagtail side. It does, however, need a special panel to actually see this, but it's not too much of an issue. So, having done this, content panels effectively defines the capabilities and the layout of the Wagtail site. I'm quoting almost from the documentation there. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to save this, and then what we're going to want to do is, since we've made changes to the database, first things I'm going to stop running the server quickly. I'm going to type out Python manage.py or Python manage.py and then make migrations. You're always going to want to type out make migrations first, or else it won't do anything. Just wait a moment, it will tell you what things have been changed. And then after that, we are going to again type out Python manage.py, but this time we're going to type out migrate, which if you recall we did when we set up the site initially. What this will do is it will again make the needed changes to the database. After that, we're going to once more want to run our server, because this time we're going to need to access the admin page. So obviously there was a little error here, I forgot how to close the server. Don't do that. So now, if we click on here, you'll notice that our home has been added. And not just that, but we actually have the option to view it live. So it currently is just the initial page, since we've not made any changes to the template. But we will do that very soon. So just to set some things up for later, you might notice a few buttons here. So first thing is the edit button. This will allow you to change things such as the title and the body from the web page. You can save a specific draft, or you can do many things. You can delete them, you can lock them, unpublish if you've already published, or publish if you haven't, or submit to moderators for approval. So very briefly, publish just activates your actual site. So if say that you've got things already developed, already made, already published, you can publish this and it will add it to the main site. Whereas if it's just a draft, it's not actually connected to the main page. You can still view it, you can still edit it, but others won't necessarily be able to do the same. So heading back quickly, so again you will notice add child page, which adds pages within pages effectively that are all linked, because Wagtail operates in a tree-like structure where there will usually be a parent at the top and then each subsequent page will flow from that. After that, what we are going to want to do is we're going to now want to change the homepage template. So I'm going to have videos there. So we are now going to want to head to templates within home, so we are still within home. You will notice that there are two pages, home page and then welcome page. Welcome page is what's currently displayed. We can have a quick peek in here. We'll open in Visual Studio Code again. So this is all the code for the welcome page. And it will send you to wherever you need to go. But we're not focused on that. We're not bothering with any of that. We're not changing it. We're in fact removing it. So heading back over, we're now going to go to the homepage.html, open in Visual Studio Code, and then you will notice so most of it is already written in Django, but we will be changing all of this. Just all of it. So we are going to head back over to the Wagtail tutorial, scroll down a little bit, and then we're going to copy and paste over this code. So again, notice how we'll effectively just replace everything within the extends basic HTML. We don't need to worry about the rest of it, I believe. There were no errors from just doing that, and it doesn't say to do otherwise. So just do that, save it, and now if I head back over to the Wagtail homepage and refresh, it's completely blank. But that's a good thing because it shows that we've in fact overridden the Wagtail page. Now, I'm not too certain. I believe it is supposed to display welcome to our new site. Obviously on my screen there's nothing here. The little Wagtail is here. We can click on that. And it'll go to Wagtail admin, show and explorer, all that. That's not too much of an issue. Not sure if it's supposed to display that, but it doesn't affect the rest of this tutorial. Having done that, we can finally get around to creating our first website. I will be using this blog template that is on the Wagtail tutorial page. And just very briefly, I should mention, there was a section above this, the Wagtail template tags. The long and short of it is that you need to include this command here, load Wagtail tags, if you've made reference to Wagtail tags anywhere in the page, or else it will throw a template syntax error. So for example, rich text field, I believe, will require the load Wagtail code tags to function. Anyway, with that covered, we can now start our app. So you'll notice that this, you might notice the CMD is looking a bit different, and that's because in the initial version of this recording there was a slight error here that I have since found out the cause of. I'll explain it when I get there. So anyway, you're going to want to type out python manage.py, because again, I'm going to stop saying that soon, but just assume when I'm typing stuff out within my site, I am typing out python manage.py, unless I explicitly state otherwise. So I'm going to type that out, and then start app blog. Now what this will do is it will start a new application called blog within your my site folder. We can go in here as all the folders it needs. So we are going to be editing models in one moment, so we'll open up Visual Studio Code. However, one thing, and this is where the error came in, one thing you also have to do, and it's very easy to forget, it's a Django thing, and apparently somewhat common thing that happens, is you want to add the new blog to your installed apps here. So we'll just run you through this in the folder. So you want to go to my site, like the sub my site, here's my site, settings, and then I believe is in it, let me double check. Oh no, base. So it's a good thing I checked. Then you want to scroll over to install apps, and you want to add something called blog here. If you don't do this, when you try to make your migrations, it just won't register, it will turn up empty, it won't find it. With that done, we can close this, and hopefully that is changed forever now. And then we can just head back over quickly, copy and paste this code over. And another error I did when I was first testing this out is I accidentally overrode this from Django input models by just copy and pasting over it. Don't do that, or else it will break your website in completely different ways. Make sure that this from Django.db input models is still here, because you will notice somewhere we'll make reference to models. So anyway, continuing, we can head back over to the page here. And now what we're going to want to do is actually make the migration. So first make sure that is saved. Head back over here. And then we are going to type out again, make migrations, followed by migrate. So give me 1 second. What's the issue? Man, Joe, that's a classic. If you watched my first tutorial, you'll know that is not uncommon for me to type out. I seem to type out a lot, I'm not sure. It might be me. Could be something up with my keyboard, I suppose I'd have to look into that. Anyway, and then migrate. So anyway, now that that's done, I believe, let me double check, there's something we're going to need to do first, before it tells us to look at this. Well, first things first, I'm using on the server again quickly. Man, okay, that was just me typing it there. Now I'm just forgetting how to spell. There's a PY run server. Just wait for it to do all these loads. Can I head back up to the pages? So it's still home page. You will now notice that we can actually add the blog index page as a child. Currently this is empty, there's nothing special about it, so we're not going to bother, we'll do that in a moment. But it is there, so if you want to make sure at this point that you've got all of that working, go to add child page, check, and if it's there, good, you're right on track. Hello, I'm just adding this section here as well because I initially forgot to talk about something, so you might notice that there's going to be a bit of a time jump if you're paying attention. forwards and then backwards. The thing that I forgot to mention is the slug. And all the slug is a little tag that you add that will indicate what the URL should be. So if I just head over to my site here, I don't believe I've changed anything. So hold on, let me go to my pages, home, let me just head to the original. And then I believe it's under edit, under edit, and then promote. So it's initially set to blog, so long as you've called it blog. If you've called it blog index, it will probably say blog index. And let me just test something. If I just change that to blog index and save draft, and I head back over. Okay, it's kept it the same. The one reason I did that test then was because when I was initially setting all of this up, for some reason it's changed at some point. I'm not entirely sure why. If that happens, you can just change it straight back. This can be whatever. It can be block 2 for all you want, anything. So I'm just adding this because again it's important. Slugs will be discussed a little more in the next video as well. But for the time being, they're just useful to know what your URL should be. So if I just change to blog 2, publish this, and then I type in /blog, now it gives an error. However, if I type in blog 2, it will take us to this page again. So this is going to be a little confusing. You will understand after watching the rest of the video. Whilst we're over on this page, we are going to want to copy this code quickly. It will show you where to find, or should I say where to create, the file structure that we're going to actually put this into. But we'll just copy and paste while we're here, so we'll head back over to our files, and now we just want to head back towards our blog page there. So you'll notice that this doesn't actually have a template page. That means you are going to have to create one. So I'm going to type template, so I'm just making sure it's supposed to hold that, it's not just template without the S. And yeah, it's template, so it's good. The structure is going to look like this. So blog is the blog that we created with start app, templates what I've just typed out. We need to type out blog again because that's how Django just does these things. And then we need to create something called blog index page HTML. So let me head back over. So we'll enter templates, new folder called blog. And then within here again, it's going to be blog underscore index underscore page, not page. Why am I creating a folder? That shouldn't be a folder, that should just in fact be a regular file. So let me just create new file. So sorry, apologies. Blog underscore index underscore page dot HTML. Yes. So I will now open this up in the Visual Studio. Copy and paste all of this over, Control Save, and congratulations, your new template is done. So I don't believe there will actually be anything special about this at the moment, but you will notice now that, I think you will notice that we had blog and index page. Again, it looks just like a normal one, but now we've got a section called intro, which I don't believe was in there before. Let me check. It might have been in there. Oh, no, there. So you can see it's created intro and then a body, as well as title there. Generic post body, I guess. So, again, I'm just going to straight ahead publish this. Now, let's test our site. So, if I view this live, you'll see our post here. Oh, so I've viewed blog specifically. So if I head back to the actual blog page, sorry, that's what I meant to do. We can actually see some content of the post, and then we click on that, it will then take us to the actual thing. So it'll show us that it posted, as well as the content. So I'm going to head back as I just did. So that's a lot of the basics covered, I think. So now if I'll just scroll down again. So you can obviously add multiple of these posts. You can add as many as you want, have them as long as you want. And then it will just begin to go over in more detail a lot of the stuff we've covered, such as overriding context, as well as describing the parent and child relationships. For the purpose of this tutorial, we are, however, done. You've got all the basics of this down, and hopefully this should help you with future learning. there is going to at least be one more follow-up video covering the rest of this basic tutorial, but this will be uploaded some other time. I would like to thank you for viewing this tutorial. I hope it's been helpful, and I hope it's answered any questions you might have had. Again, one more time, anything that you might need should be linked in the description. That will be the documentation and links to other videos in this series. And thanks for watching again. See you in the next video.